Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff. You are here. I am here solo, normally here with co-host Chip. He is somewhere out there watching the show. Today, man, there was a little bit of a recoup. The market went green, big percentage gains over yesterday, and yesterday was a complete bloodbath in the market. But the Ripple XRP lawsuit is truly at the center of crypto regulatory clarity. And the one thing that is for certain is that the SEC, the CFTC, FinCEN, and so many other of those lettered government bodies want a piece of the crypto pie. Now, I think that's a great place to get started because we have a ton of stuff to cover. We're going to get into some videos from Gensler. There's some statements from Cathie Wood. There's some other statements from a lot of well-knowns in this space, and we're going to go through all of that and so much more because we've got a solid hour to cover all of it. We can talk about Ripple. We can talk about XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the case keeps going on and on and on. If you guys are ready to go, I'm ready. Let's kick this thing off. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
That's short. Just when you think you're getting going and you got the music and you got it all, you're fired up. Fired up. So just a quick shout out to everybody that's tuning in right now. We started with over 100 people in the stream, and Nathan Stone shouts out Matic. So do me a favor as you guys bounce in, give a shout out to where you are tuning in from. Mainly because we have people that come in from all over the world, and it is 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning in some places. So big shout out to everybody. Glad you're here with us. I want to start out with a tweet that John Deaton put up. I need to share a screen here first and foremost. So I'm going to make sure that as I share my screen, I share a little bit of audio. So let's move our tweet over here. Let's make sure we can see it. And let's pull it up on the screen. Here we go. There it is. Look at that. Easy squeezy. Now, John Deaton posted this yesterday. Now, you guys all know Paul Krugman. Now, right now, I guess I should preface a lot of the conversation right now. So, a lot of the conversation that you're starting to see on mainstream media, in the main street, the banks, bodies, what are they now focused on? They are going to go into the major FUD syndrome. And we're starting to see them stack up one after another after another. And the one thing that we saw, if we go back to when we have these crashes, they all come out of the woodworks. You know, it's kind of like after it rains and you have all the worms that come out of the ground. That's exactly what these mainstream finance media types are all about. And a lot of the big players out there in the brick and mortars want to speak negatively against the digital asset space. And it's really interesting because and we're gonna hear a great statement that we're gonna play here in a second also. But I want to start out with this tweet from Paul Krugman because it's going to set a little bit of the tone of what our expectations are, you know, coming from, you know, some of these guys. So let's pull this up. Hang on one second. There we go. All right. So John Deaton starts out and he said, I wonder how the guy who sold his Amazon stock after listening to you feels today. So back in 1998, right? 1998. So Paul Krugman comes out and he says, by 2005, plus or minus, it will become clear that the internet's impact on the economy has been no greater than the fax machines. Now, the fax machine may or may not have had a major impact on the economy, but it did obviously help streamline. It definitely helped streamline business. That's what the fax machine did. But here we go. So Paul Krugman, 1998, wrong. 100% wrong. Where's the buzzer? We need a buzzer and one of those canes to pull him off the stage because the guy follows this up. So this guy should be a nobody at this point. When you come out and you make a statement like that back in 1998, that the internet's impact is going to be basically nothing, then who's going to listen to you moving forward after that? The internet is the biggest thing that has ever happened in history that has brought the entire world together. This guy shouldn't be anywhere and nobody should be listening or quoting him, but it's hilarious, right? So then he starts out May 19th. The guy's over and over again. He says, I don't write much about Bitcoin because there aren't any fundamentals to discuss. Now, the guy that was wrong about the internet, is he going to be right or wrong when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? I mean, it's an absolute joke, and it's hilarious, to see these two back to back. So I'm glad that John Deaton posted that. Awesome. Kudos to you for bringing that out. And then Chip comes out and says, Krugman is habitually wrong. If he says left, go right. Judy here says that statement did not age well. I mean, it's hilarious, right? So I thought that was an awesome place to start because it is going to set a lot of the tone of the conversation that we're going to have tonight. And you know who else sets the tone when he walks into the room? None other than...
Come on, man. Berserker.
What's up, Berserker? What is up? Good to see you on early. It's always great to have you here with us. And then, when you're kind of, you're out and it's dark out and you're walking, it's freezing cold. What better thing to do than to sing a song? All right. What is up, Sir John? If you're lucky enough, we get to sneak it in there and we'll end up putting something up that you least expected, when you least expected. All right. So this guy's gone. Let's get him off the screen. Boom. Close that tweet. That's gone. I want to go over to somebody that is very well known at this point, and she is making a major splash over at Ripple. And I'm sure you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. And she has a major statement, and that is Rosie Rio's big statement when it comes to digital asset, cryptocurrency. So let's bring this up. Let's see if we can go full screen on this before we play. There we go. Let's play this and get a little commentary.
What do you think about cryptocurrency as a form of currency?
Well, I think the train's already left the station in terms of cryptocurrency. You may or may not know that I just joined the board of Ripple, and the reason why I chose to join that board, it's, in my opinion, one of the few cryptocurrency options out there that has a credible and legitimate use. So financial institutions use it to settle cross-border payments.
Do you guys hear that?
Hey, listen. About cryptocurrency.
Do you guys hear that? Actually, Krugman, do you hear that? Listen.
As a form of currency.
Well, I think the train's already left the station in terms of cryptocurrency. You may or may not know that I just joined the board of Ripple, and
oh, did you hear that? Do you hear that? The cat is out of the bag, right? The train has left the station, and cryptocurrency is here to stay. So, and she just joined the board of Ripple. She has a tremendous career leading up to that point. So, and this is just the beginning. We have so much more just like this tonight. There's a lot of great things getting ready to happen here. So L. Young says, can't be more assurance than that. The best financial decision I ever made in life was to buy XRP 3.5 years ago. There you go. And it is going, and it is going. So lots of great stuff with the digital asset, cryptocurrency space. And then Veritas Equitas Semper says XRP and XLM plus Ripple equals all the money, because there you go. You've got it covered all over the place, from one side to the other. That's right. So it is solid stuff. So then let's go into, I mean, this is great. We can keep stacking up these videos and you kind of go, back, forth, back, and it's interesting. Now, here's another one. This one, we got to take a look at this. Hang on a second. Let me get this other one off the screen. And then we're going to get into some in-depth discussion and commentary. We don't need the Michael Saylor. I don't know if that one's a legit video, so I don't know if I want to play it. But this one, cryptocurrency. Hang on a second. Where's my? There we go. All right. Here we go. Let's see what we got. What's with all these officials having lizard features? I don't know. That's a great question. It's a great question. Lizard features. What are you talking about? All right. Here we go. So check this out. I don't even know how to set the stage other than it's an article in the mainstream. It's in the Wall Street Journal. Cryptocurrency has yet to make the world a better place. It hasn't been around 10 years. So the title of that, do you expect within 10 years, the world is going to be this, illustrious, everything is just going to be phenomenal, all because of cryptocurrency. And and just let's pretend that it hasn't run into a ton of roadblocks. Let's just pretend that government hasn't been somehow blocking regulatory clarity. Let's just pretend that the Token Taxonomy Act isn't sitting in the Financial Services Committee, the one thing that can bring about regulatory clarity. Let's pretend it's not there and that nothing, all these great things that could bring regulatory clarity that have been impeded on. No, all that stuff just is happening outside there. But look at this. An innovation that has failed to catch on for legal transactions proves invaluable to ransomers. Now, again, they focus in. We saw this big pipeline thing. Now, here, I find it interesting. That pipeline that was hacked caused gas shortages in the Northeast. And at the same time, there's announcements stating that the ransomware group or the group that hacked into it somehow emptied out their wallets. They had like $5 million in Bitcoin, or they collected $90 million in Bitcoin. And there's all this spin. So they're singling out Bitcoin is bad, nefarious. Look, it's being used now to pay off some group that hacked up an oil pipeline. Look how bad they are. Look how horrible. Meanwhile, who do we know? Why are they singling out both oil and Bitcoin in one foul swoop? Now, is it legitimate? Was there really a hacker group? I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but when it all starts lining up and you see how the media comes out immediately. So Bitcoin at 65,000, fiat in the tank, inflation about to skyrocket, price of wood, price of steel, price of everything going up, price of gas getting ready to go up, inflationary what I want to say, examples or tendencies or whatever, are popping up all over the place. And man, it's crazy. It's crazy, So here we go. Let's take a look at this. Bitcoin volatility signals a long road to adoption. I wonder what the heck this is going to be all about.
Bitcoin was extremely volatile on May 19th. And while that likely doesn't bother many long-term bulls, it does point to some fundamental problems with cryptocurrencies.
Man, so this already seems like it's a historical video, and we're talking about yesterday. So let's see.
At one point on May 19th, Bitcoin was down around 20%. Even so, people who bought a couple years ago had still more than tripled their money. And people who had held Bitcoin for 5 years were sitting on gains of over 6,000%. So for many people, that kind of track record is enough to justify holding on or even buying the dip. However, it still points to some problems. First of all, extreme volatility may be desirable in a speculative risk asset, but it's not in a currency.
So he's hitting on a couple of really interesting points. One on, speculative assets, expecting big gains, very volatile. Now we're definitely seeing, across the board, a lot of volatility in the marketplace. Everybody's seen the volatility. If you want to look at something in a snapshot and you're only going to focus in on, let's say, 2021, for example, and that's your entire focus is Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, XRP, everything narrowly focused on 21. And you see the major spike up. And actually, let's go back to the fall of 20. So let's go back to September when Bitcoin was sitting around 10,000. Again, we see these major ramps up. This is the focus that the media has because everything that happened prior to never existed. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing to me. So I can hold it 60 minutes. Can I hold it for 60 minutes? We can try. We can try. You know what? Actually, if you go to the Wim Hof, you get a Wim Hof method. It's amazing, right? Check out Wim Hof. Look at the breathing techniques with Wim Hof. The objective of Wim Hof is to exhale, and then you hold your breath, you know, in an exhale. And if you can get to 2 minutes, then you'd be amazing. It'd be unreal. You know, 2 minutes solid with a full exhale, you'd be great. So I've got it. I've been practicing it. And you do like, you know, you do 5 rounds of it, breathing for like 30, 35 seconds, inhale, exhale, you exhale. And then once you've exhaled, that's it. Hold your breath. I got up to a minute 40 at one point. Now all of a sudden I'm struggling with it again, but a minute 40 is crazy. There you go. There it is. Wim Hof. Wim Hof. It's good stuff. Good stuff on a full exhale. So anyhow, let's continue.
A true currency needs to be both a store of value and a medium of exchange between people. And the volatility in Bitcoin undermines both roles. If you don't know what you can buy with your Bitcoin tomorrow or next week, that undermines its value as a currency.
So, you know, the guy's entire concept here is he's going after the fact that it is not a currency. And he wants to attack the fact that it is not a currency. Instead of, you know, focusing in on, so the entire market looks at Bitcoin as a store of value. If you go all the way back 10 years in time, when you have Bitcoin in the single digits and it's growing year over year over year at a greater rate than any other asset, XRP growing. If you want to go back to the beginning of XRP to now, and then you match that up with any other asset, you match it up with fiat, you match that up, you know, with the price of gold, you match it up with anything, and the percent increase of these digital assets from the beginning till now is really what we should be looking at. So, you know, one of the things he's saying cryptocurrency has yet to make it a better place. I don't know how you can say that. I mean, honestly, I don't know how you can say that with a straight face and say it hasn't made the world a better place. You have people all over the world that have changed their lives all over the world. So here you have a guy, and has the Wall Street Journal become a hack newspaper, kind of like the New York Times, which is a hack newspaper? It, you know, basically not worth the paper it's printed on. But, you know, the Wall Street Journal, I mean, come on, these guys know better than that, but they're trying to go, you know, focus in on the brick and mortar. And we're not going to watch the rest of the full minute. Maybe the guy has some big spin and he's going to change and everything's going to be different, you know, but right off the bat, you know, we want to come after it, start attacking the crypto space. Again, looking at it in a snapshot instead of looking at it over a full period of from beginning till now. And if it hasn't made the world a better place, man, I don't know what has. You know, you've got people in Lebanon running to digital assets. You have people in Venezuela running to digital assets. You have people in Africa running to digital assets and building blockchain and cryptocurrency based companies. You have, you know, the largest growth of income and wealth happening right now in areas that you would never expect to see wealth grow. Now, how can you tell me that that hasn't made the world a better place? Maybe it hasn't made the brick and mortar a better place, but it is starting to begin, or we're starting to see the infancy or the toddler stage of how impactful cryptocurrency and blockchain overall is going to have on the world. Now, the brick and mortars are going to want to continue to push off and hold off and make sure that they can hold on to their power as long as they possibly can. But come on. So we got to take a breath, slow down, relax. There you go. XRP speedboat. You know what's crazy? It's like I go all day long. I get to the end of the day, my whole brain is starting to shut down. And then I got to get back on track to do this again. And I just get that last bit of adrenaline. Start the day at 5:30 a.m., wake up, take the dog for a walk, work out, or if the dog doesn't wake up, work out first, then take him out. But I try to start that day off. It's great. You get up, go outside at 5:30. It's dark. There's typically nobody out. And if I miss my window of opportunity, I start running into people, and then it delays my walk and the dog is slow. Then I get back and it kind of ruins the workout. So then you go from, a nice workout, then you kind of delay it. But then the day starts, like today, my morning started at 7:30 on the phone already. So I started getting phone calls at 7:30, and it's like like all day long. And then it just it. I try to shut down and it starts over again. It's awesome. Outstanding. XRB speedboat. Just check crypto price every 2 minutes for breathing exercises. There, if you want to try to do that, you'll be hyperventilating nonstop. So let's see what we got. What do we got here? Our mathlete has many skills. It's hilarious. Slow down. The show is nearly ending. It is. We're 24 months in and we covered everything we got. That's it. I should slow down. I've been listening to guys on the radio and they talk very deliberate and slow. And maybe that's where we need to be. We got to go into that kind of, slow mode. What? All right. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here. All right. Forget that guy. That guy's no fun anymore. So here's where we're going to go now. I don't want to get into Gensler yet. Kathy Wood was interesting. There's really not a lot in this one, but let's pull it over here. All right, here we go. See, I can slow down. Here we go. There we go. See, now it's slow and we kind of get into it. So Kathy Wood doubles down on Coinbase after bailing on Apple. Now, if you guys have looked into Kathy Wood, you've looked into the ARK fund, man, Kathy Wood is awesome. The ARK fund is absolutely outstanding, right? So what is she doing right now? What does it say? Look at this. What do we talk about? You guys can't see this probably. What do we talk about when stuff moves? What do you do? Look at that. What does she do? She buys the dip. So on Tuesday, this is from the 19th. This is from yesterday. And we're talking about, I can't highlight that one, whatever. So here, this is what we're talking about. Look at this. Kathy Wood scooped up another 118,000 shares of Coinbase, of Coin. So look at that. That's crazy. Look where it's sitting right now too. So that was yesterday. We're gonna have to look it up. Waiting for it to sink below that $200 mark on its way to maybe 150. I don't know. So let's see. Apple, as far as Apple, they have 3,000 shares of Apple left in ARK. So signifying a departure from the old guard into nascent or more risky areas of the market. Interesting. So it's huge, but ARK did fall below its 200-day moving average for the first time in a year. I mean, that's a big move also. So you look at the ARK F. That's their ARK FinTech Innovation, ARK F. Then they have the ARK K fund. So ARK K is also innovation. So a lot of stuff happening. Let's see, what do they do over here? Anything? So it says here, the family of ARK Invest ETFs going all in on the crypto sphere as the digital currency market tanks. So that was yesterday. And then today, so we get a little bit of that news. So it's big news. You know, what do we listened yesterday? We were talking about investing in the protocols, investing in the exchanges, where you're starting to see, you know, massive growth. So Coinbase seeing massive growth. Coinbase chose, it's interesting. There was an article, and I put this in a video a while ago. It'd be interesting to hear everyone's thoughts on this if you want to post it. But Coinbase chose to do a direct listing of stock instead of, or in lieu of, posting their own digital asset, whether it be a stable coin or not. But they chose not to put up their own digital asset. Now, if you look at Binance with BNB, Celsius with Cell, BitTrue with BTR, and the list goes on and on. A lot of these platforms have their own asset. Coinbase, as an exchange, just like BitTrue or Binance or others, could very well have decided that instead of going to the general market and registering a security, they could have launched their own crypto asset, their own digital asset. The question is, had they launched their own asset, would it be 2 or 3 times the value that their stock is right now? So I don't know if that's right or wrong. I just thought it was kind of an interesting, you know, point to review that, you know, that's what they chose to do. I don't know what you guys think. If you want to throw it in to the chat, you know, throw it in there. Let's hear what you guys think on that one. It's interesting. See, I can slow down. I hit that thing. It was like, you know, flying at first. Got to slow down. All right. So check this out. So here's the market. So we look at CoinGecko. Obviously, we know that over the past week has been a little bit of a disappointment. 17% drop over here in Bitcoin in the past 7 days. But it's not the biggest drop that we've seen. It's not the worst drop that we've seen. We're not talking about a massive pullback for, you know, to years ago. We're talking about a pullback to not that long ago. You know, so we're talking about maybe a month or 2 months ago. So if, you know, if we're in, you know, into it at that point, our 1 week 17% drop is after a massive gain. So all these naysayers out there, like our buddy over here with this video on the Wall Street Journal, and I don't know if this was the guy, but what are they looking at? Like, whose world are they living in? BNB had a major push to the upside to where it was over $600. So it's fallen 28%. But now in the past 24, it's back up 21%. We're talking about a lot of volatility in this speculative investment. Ripple sitting at $1.21. You know, you got to go down this list and say, what's really happening? Matic a week and a half ago was at 77 cents. It's sitting at $1.92 and an 81% gain on the week. Stellar at 49 cents, down 22% in the past week. You know, but let's look at one of these charts. It's not an actual chart, but let's just look and see, you know, what they're referencing here. Let's see if it'll actually come up. You know, when we're looking at, you know, this massive, you know, decline in value, let's look at a 14-day window. So here we are here, you know, so 2 weeks ago we're here. Let's go back 90 days. So here we were back in March. So March, we're sitting at 39 cents with Stellar. Right now, it had a little bit of a pullback, right? It went down to, I can't get to this, whatever that is. This isn't the right thing to do charts in, but 43 cents. But then now it's back up again. You know, and we're talking about 3 months ago. So we saw a little bit of a movement here, had a little excitement, big pullback almost to, 90 days. Let's go back 180 days. Now, if we go back 180 days, look where we're sitting in November. We're sitting at 10 cents. So we have these gains. Look, big gain, pullback, flat, big gain, pullback. Then not so much of a flat, big gain again, a little thing, pullback. However, this is 180 days ago. Talking about November. So we're still looking at a massive increase in price point. So as they're looking at this, even if they want to look at it in a snapshot, their snapshot doesn't exist 6 months ago, doesn't exist a year ago, doesn't exist 10 years ago. Their snapshot is this or this. They're looking, it was here and we had all this stuff, and XLM probably isn't the best one to use for that. But I'm not trying to do any charting here. I'm just making a point of what these guys are focused on. The media, the mainstream media is going to look at the hype. They're going to look at the big increase. They want to look and say, hey, we're seeing this massive drop over the past 30 days because, in the past 30 days, we've seen Bitcoin at 55,000. We've seen it at 60,000. But then we go to 90 days and we did have a pretty big pullback, in terms of 3 months ago. But let's go back 6 months ago. Look where we were back in November. We were at 18,000 in November. So it's 40,000 right now, 41. Twice the price. It's up by $23,000 in 6 months. To me, I mean, there's some volatility here. It's exciting. Let's look at a year. Oh, look at that. A year ago, it was at $9,000 last May. Now it's at $40,000. I mean, now let's look at the max time frame. Want to go to the beginning, but obviously we had a little of some excitement over here back in 2017, 2018, a little excitement, little bit of a pullback, and that pullback, that massive pullback, was still higher than it was before the big push when it was at $1,200. So we're still looking at, this isn't some big analysis. I'm just looking at the bare bones basics over the past 10 years. I'm not doing any kind of graph or anything like that. I'm just looking at this, but this is all they're looking at right here. They're looking at this drop. They're looking from here. It was at this height in April, a month ago, and it went from 59,000 to 41,000. That's all they're looking at. Now, these big ramp ups, can also be catastrophic when it goes up real fast, and then you look at the other side of the cliff. But I bet if we put some stocks in the stock market, we can see some very not this. You're not going to see those kind of gains, but I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know. I just kind of get sucked into looking at that, but that's all they're looking at. That's it. Nothing else. It's crazy. All right. We looked at that. I don't know what this is all about. Chip, I don't know where you found this. I don't know if it's legit. I don't know.
There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset. There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset. There is no second best.
Now, I don't know if that's real or not. Chip threw it out. He goes, hey, you got to check out this video. And I don't know. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Johnny, never mind. I thought that at this hearing tomorrow that the judge was going to rule on the fair notice defense by Ripple, but I heard that's not the case. Let's find out what happens tomorrow. I think that'll be pretty solid. We'll be able to, analyze that a little bit. I think that'll be important. So hang on. Are you calling into the trial tomorrow or a Chippenstein? I don't know if I'm going to have time to call in. I really don't. But I heard the SEC will win another round at this hearing. The SEC, they do everything to trip over themselves. But, the case right from the onset, if you look at any of these, it's always a little bit stacked against you. They can spin things any way they want. They have the full weight of the government behind them. They also have an unlimited source of money to spend on the legal, whatever legal fees. I mean, there's no bill, unless they're hiring out, the private attorneys, then they have bills. But the government seems to have this like endless pot of gold to pull from. So if they wanted this thing to go on for a long time, I'm sure they could just let it kind of drag out for as long as they wanted to, and that's, kind of crazy. I'm not sure that they will. I still think that, there's just way too much going on their side to where they're tripping over themselves, completely tripping over themselves, not really bringing a strong enough case right from the onset. Chip and I looked at it, not an attorney, but I look at this and I say, you know what, just based on what they're trying to claim, and then talking to all these people that we talked to, John Deaton, one in particular, comes out and says, where is the Howey test? What about the retail investors? What about the damage and injury to the retail investors, the very ones that they're supposed to protect? So I don't know. That's some crazy stuff. Now there's supposed to be a Bitcoin conference, or I don't know if it's all Bitcoin or whatever it is, but it is coming up in June, I believe, right? So beginning of June, there is a conference, and we are planning on going. Both Chip and I are planning on attending if we can. I think it's June 5th or 6th. Not 100% sure. I'll look into it. We'll talk about it on Saturday to confirm that. But all right, hey, we got another video here. This one is interesting too. How old is this before we look at it? Oh, no, this one's too old. I don't want to look at this one. This is from May 7th. It said, Chairman Gensler says more investor protections are needed for Bitcoin and crypto markets. Let me see. Hang on. There we go. All right. CNBC. This is already a little bit old. So he told CNBC that he sees the attraction to Bitcoin for traders, but regulation is needed to prevent fraud and other issues. It's interesting that when they start talking about fraud and other issues, that this whole pipeline ransom, $90 million in Bitcoin, all of a sudden popped up. If that's the case, clearly it's about stalling, not about who's right or wrong. There you go. So what does it say here? Bitcoin and other cryptos have boomed since last year. All right. Then he said here, to the extent that something is a security, the SEC has a lot of authority, and a lot of crypto tokens, I won't call them cryptocurrencies for this moment, are indeed securities. I remember we covered this before, but it's all coming back because this becomes very relevant all over again. It's like full circle, like we're kind of this never-ending cycle of excitement. So one thing that we do know is that, let's see, why am I freezing? There we go. All right. One thing that we know is that supposedly, honestly, I don't know where they get this stuff. Rushing to regulate. It's a mess. What it really is that the SEC, the CFTC, the IRS, FinCEN, and Congress, just like I put in the thumbnail, all want, I didn't put in the thumbnail in the description, all want a piece of crypto oversight. I think they all want a piece of crypto. So we need clear regulations. We need regulatory clarity. We don't want punitive regulation. We want regulatory clarity to help identify the rules of the road. We don't want punitive regulation. We don't want overbearing regulation. We don't want to happen what we've seen in Northern California or in California many times, where they will not allow water to be released to the farmers to water their crops because they're concerned about a specific fish that's in the water. Now, if you're planning on damming the water and redirecting water flow, you've already upset the balance of nature. Now, if you're then going to regulate how that water flows and you're going to decimate farming industry, that is punitive measure. That is regulation from a punitive perspective. People are punished due to this regulation. Now, regulatory clarity, this is just how I'm looking at things. You know, regulatory clarity means that we want a little bit of clarity on how we're supposed to operate in this space. Don't overburden me, but allow me to operate. So now each one of these agencies, of all these agencies, the SEC, the CFTC, the IRS, and FinCEN, and Congress, are all trying to get their little piece of the pie. It's a disaster. And the one thing that we do know is that for 3 sessions of Congress now, there has been a token taxonomy act that was put in front of Congress that they could have voted on. They could have discussed it. It never even made it to full discussion. It's sitting in committee. It's in the Financial Services Committee. We had Congressman Warren Davidson on here. We talked to him about it. But it sits there. Now, if in fact Washington was truly rushing to provide regulatory clarity, then the first place they would start would be with the Token Taxonomy Act. Apparently not. So obviously there's some confusion. Now you see here, they always go back. The wild swings in crypto prices this year have enthralled and disheartened investors. Again, there's a lot of new people coming into the space, which is outstanding. Many people are going to follow the herd, and they're going to FOMO into stuff. Many people are going to get tricked into selling. Many people are going to look at the negativity or the FUD, like when the SEC decided to bring case against Ripple without thinking about the direct impact on the investors in XRP and how many investors of XRP actually sold their XRP potentially at a loss due to the fear mongering that surrounded the original announcement of the case back in December. So you have the FUD and the fear mongering of the media hype, which all it does is sow division amongst the people, doesn't build up the people, doesn't build up the economy. All it does is sow division. So, you know, we look at this and again, there's just focus like, you know, it's like a horse. You know, you put the blinders on the horse and that's how they run around. Look, with shares of Coinbase, a prize of Silicon Valley investors who placed early bets on the crypto market, swinging along with price of Bitcoin, tech is worried too. Really? Are they really worried? Are they truly worried? I mean, where did they even get this stuff? Where does this come from? Who even wrote this article? What the heck is protocol? I don't even know what protocol is. But so here you have the soundness and stability of crypto has gone from a fascination of early enthusiastic adopters to a mainstream concern. One particular worry is the ability of vague tweets from a single person. So again, this person, whoever wrote this, their entire world of cryptocurrency is now focused on anywhere in the past 180 days. That's it. They did no more research. They didn't look back 10 years. They haven't looked at the full development of the space, the growth of the space, what is actually happening, the difference between now and 2017, 2018. Not saying the crypto market can't pull back and bring Bitcoin down to 20,000 and everything go way down again and sit that way for the next 2 or 3 years till the next cycle. I don't know. But these guys are so focused on just this little tiny area of time. Then they focused on what Elon Musk did. Now, Elon Musk was obviously, we covered it yesterday, and Kathy Wood had said it. You know, he got caught in a spot where here he is with his supposed green machine, his battery operated cars, and he decides he's putting all of his money into Bitcoin, or a bunch of money into Bitcoin. And they came out and said, how can you do that? Invest in Bitcoin when it's not green, when it uses too much energy consumption. So then he has to back out and try to save face with all these, you know, woke green investors of Tesla. Now, Tesla stock is kicking ass. When you make a vehicle, when you make the metal for a vehicle, the chemicals that are involved in the process have to go somewhere. They dump them somewhere. They process out as much as they can. There's a lot of waste involved. The mining of the materials that go into the batteries is devastating to the earth. There's some way that, you know, there's some level of being able to recycle some of these batteries. But at some point, when you have mass numbers of people driving around in battery-powered cars, those batteries are going to deplete and have to be put someplace. The energy that powers that battery comes from somewhere, and in most cases from a nuclear power plant or a coal plant that's making electricity. You're just now, most people are trying to rationalize it like they are with Bitcoin. They're just trying to rationalize that since I'm not directly using the energy, I'm not using energy. I don't see it. When I turn on my electricity, I don't know where the energy comes from. I don't know exactly where that electricity comes from. When I plug in the Tesla, I don't know where the electricity comes from to plug in the Tesla. When you go to the gas station, you can see the gas going in there, and you've been told that the pollutants of the gas are so astronomical that it's devastating the earth. But yet the power that powers the power plant to get you electricity somehow doesn't, because you want to offset one for the other. Nobody talks about the tens of thousands of birds that are killed due to all of these big windmills all over the place. But you start putting all this stuff into perspective. If you hate one thing, you got to hate the other. You can't just say, I love this because it's my thing, and I hate that because it's your thing. But that's what they're saying with Bitcoin and all the digital assets. And they're trying to focus in on this. And it's so incorrect. It's staggering how incorrect it is. But look at this. Washington once seemed befuddled by cryptocurrency, handing out confusing rulings. But the SEC is now chaired by Gary Gensler. He taught a course of blockchain at MIT. This guy must be the guy. He taught a course at MIT on blockchain. He's the savior. He must know what he's doing. The question is whether or not he's going to do the right thing, and he's going to provide regulatory clarity. Nobody knows if he's going to provide the right algorithm for regulatory clarity. Just because he taught blockchain and he's excited about blockchain doesn't mean that he doesn't have external influence and pressure to not provide true regulatory clarity. Nobody knows yet, because we haven't really heard from him on this specifically. So he kind of goes in, on and on. Now, the early crypto scene was dominated by libertarian types seeking to evade or defeat regulation. So I don't know. I mean, I read this stuff. I'm like, who in the world puts these things together? And this is all about, the idea here is Washington's rushing to regulate crypto. Where is Washington going to regulate crypto in any of this? But finally, I mean, after all of that conversation, and I get it, you know, someone wants to write a piece. That's awesome. This stuff just drives me crazy though, you know? So finally gets into a little bit of regulation. So you have a bill from April. The House of Representatives passed a bill well, this is the bill that just passed. They create a working group. Woo, a working group. What is it? A working group? The SEC and the CFTC are able to get together and report their findings a year later in front of the Senate. Or in front of Congress or whatever, but it's sitting in the Senate. So it passed the House. So far, it's stalled out in the Senate. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's so crazy. I just can't. But there's been some great bills out there, like this one. Mike Conway had the Digital Commodity Exchange Act, another huge bill that went along with the Token Taxonomy Act, and here it sits. He retired. It didn't pass. Someone needs to reintroduce it. Hopefully somebody will. But all this fluff up in here to get into this, why talk about all of this when you can just get into this? I mean, it's one paragraph. I really wanted to see an entire article about it, but, you know, I guess it is what it is. So, and it really gets into, it's really interesting to me. Goes into the SEC ongoing case against Ripple. I don't know. I got so tied up in this one. It's kind of crazy. So that's how it goes. Let me go back over here. Sweet Jimmy. Dude, you're killing me a little bit tonight. I agree. Windmills aren't perfect, but here's a clip from the Smithsonian. Oh, unfortunately, oh, here you go. Wind turbines kill between 214,000 and 368,000 birds annually, a small fraction compared with the estimated 6.8 million fatalities from collisions with cell and radio towers. Well, there you go. That too. No one wants to talk about that either. But people are running around with their cell phones. Nobody wants to talk about the deaths of all of these birds, you know. But again, 368,000 birds is a massive number. And yet, you know, I don't know. We can look at it anyway, spin the numbers. Still massive. So let's see. 1.4 billion to 3.7 billion deaths from cats. That's the best one right there. Actually, we had two poor little birds that died out of our tree. Their nest fell out of the tree near the house, and these poor little birds died. I think we tried pushing one of them with as much as we could to get the mother to nudge it away, but I think it got snatched in the middle of the night. Something ate it. All right, let's see what we got here. What's really good to talk about right now? Here we go. Come on, there we go. Here it is. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Come on now. What is this? All right. Tether. Look at that. Reaching new lows in quest to avoid being audited. You remember when Tether told us that the USDT was 100% backed by US currency, and then we found out that it wasn't? That was interesting. That was the Attorney General, and they finally admitted that it's actually cash equivalent, that they didn't actually hold the equivalent in US dollars, but they held the equivalent in value of the US dollar. I think there's some problems, you know, going on with Tether that they definitely need to address. Major issue, obviously, you know, can cause other turmoil in this space. Now, we talk about digital asset, we talk about inflation. The one area that is safe, or people identify as being safe from inflation, is actually going into cryptocurrency. And that's kind of on a global scale. So let's see. But check this out. The European Central Bank is warning of insolvencies when the pandemic stimulus measures are lifted. This doesn't have anything to do with inflation, but it does. Why? Because so many areas around the world have been funding the public to live through all of these issues because they shut down businesses all over the world, all over the world. And now when they pull that back, there's going to be a lot of major issues. And we're only going to see we're probably just seeing a fraction of it. It's going to be major. And so what are people thinking? They're thinking, what's going to happen to their economies? What's going to happen to their currencies? Just like if you think about the US dollar that is devaluing. If you go to Lebanon, when they ran and fled the banks, and we talk about it all the time, Cyprus, Turkey, Venezuela. I mean, the list goes on and on. Even in China, why are people trying to get into cryptocurrency? Because it's decentralized. They want to get away from the central control of their government. That's what it is. I mean, it's come on. Come on. All right, so let's see here. I've got another good one. Nope. Yeah, this one's not bad. We'll throw a few things up here real quick. And Deutsche Stacks wrap up Singapore DLT test project for tokenized securities. That's Deutsche Bank. They're tokenizing securities. The whole world is into this. Everywhere you look, you can't get away from it. You can't. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's something going on with cryptocurrency and digital assets. What about this one? Today, the Fed to publish report on U.S. digital currency this summer. What are they going to publish? What are they going to talk about? Again, in the immediate aftermath of the crypto crash, which made Bitcoin and its peers the main talking point amid trading desks, as well as the general public, with Google searches for crypto hitting an all-time high yesterday, Wednesday. Worldwide, 2004 to present. Look at this. Look at that. Identify cryptocurrency. Massive. Notice here, 2017, 2018. Massive. Fed Chair Powell reminded the peasantry that the Federal Reserve itself is planning on rolling out its own CBDC or its digital dollar. What do we know about the digital yuan? That we don't want a digital dollar. That will explore the implications of fast evolving technology for digital payments with a particular focus on the possibility of issuing the U.S. central bank digital currency. So, I mean, this stuff goes on, but they're talking about it. That's the key. That's the major key. Not only are they talking about it, but Ripple is highlighting the fact that there is a major global shift to explore CBDCs. Now, Ripple isn't running the other way. Ripple says, embrace your central bank digital currencies. Why do they want countries around the world to embrace CBDCs? Because Ripple is the rail that is going to carry all of those CBDCs from place to place. Ripple utilizing the XRP ledger, we would anticipate. But everywhere. Here's what they're focused on. And look at how Ripple focuses on the benefit of a central bank digital currency. If you build it on a decentralized framework, you build it on a centralized framework, you get CeFi, you don't get DeFi. We want decentralized finance, not more centralized, because now it's centralized. You go to the digital yuan, it becomes totalitarian centralized because now they dictate when, how, and on what you can spend your money. They program your money and control how you're going to spend it, or whether or not you can spend it, or whether or not you can get it, or whether or not it's in your bank. I mean, there's so many different ideas. All this stuff would have been conspiracy theory not that long ago. But it's all sitting right here in front of us. It's the craziest thing. You guys are awesome. If you're brand new here on the chain, make sure you hit that subscribe button. hit that little bell notifier because that'll notify you every time we post a live stream. Tonight is Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. Tomorrow's Friday. Happy Friday to everybody out there. We don't stream on Friday night. I'll be back Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be back again Sunday evening because we do stream 6 days a week, Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and again at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. And make sure you go check out the other channel. On the other channel, we do post short form videos. So there's regular content going up over there. We had some videos go. A couple went down this week. We'll get a couple more going out next week. Hopefully we can get them out every single day. Again, appreciate all you guys being with us here tonight on The Chain. And I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. All right. With that, I'm out. See ya.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.